Hey guys, this is Aaron from Willow Tree Pools, here for the second video of Pool in a Pyrex. Okay, so today what we're going to test out is we're going to test a theory that I've kind of had for a while, but I want to do an experiment, just get my hands on it and actually see this for myself. So when you normally go to a pool store, what you'll usually find, you'll find tricolor tablets is what they're called. They're kind of like pucks. And they're white discs, and basically what they are, they're chlorine mixed with something called cyanuric acid. And cyanuric acid is basically like sunscreen for chlorine. So when you add free chlorine to water, it's the most effective at eliminating algae and organic matter. But what happens when you add free chlorine to water is that it's very quickly evaporated or neutralized by the ultraviolet light from the sun. And so what scientists have done over the years since the 1900s, early 1900s, is they added something called cyanuric acid, which acts as a sunscreen for chlorine and prevents it from being neutralized by sunlight. So basically what I have here in front of me are two Pyrexes. Both of them are covered with aluminum foil because I can't risk having any sunlight on them before this experiment starts. I want to kind of tell you guys how I set this up. What I did was I filled both of these measuring cups with 2 cups of distilled water each. I put 1 drop of bleach into them, concentration of 8.6%. That 1 drop of bleach gave me a parts per million chlorine count of 4.6 in each of these jars, which is standard for a normal pool operation. Actually that's pretty good. So it's a 4.6 measure parts per million of chlorine. And what I did to the left one is I went ahead and put a little bit of 100% cyanuric acid in it. And just by putting maybe like 5 granules in it, I was able to get it up to about 75 parts per million, which is very high for a pool. Well, I mean, I think it's very high. For a normal pool operation, generally you'd like to see that number around like 30 to 40. But in this case, we're going to run at about 75, which isn't unheard of. I've seen pools that have about 100% cyanuric acid, or 100 parts per million cyanuric acid. So now that we've got the experiment set up, and a little bit of background, I should say the reason I'm testing this out is because a lot of people, while tricolor tablets are probably the most preferred method, they can get a little expensive. And so what you see sometimes is you see people purchasing bleach just because it's a less expensive option. You know, you're coming back from soccer practice and you see the Dollar General, you're just like, oh, you know, I'm going to swing by and grab some bleach. You know, it's just super easy. And so a lot of people kind of opt for that. So I want to show you that you can add stabilizer, cyanuric acid, to your pool with bleach and have no problem. So at least that's my theory. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and take these off. Take off my little solar covers. It's like Christmas, except it's not as fun. Alright, so here we go. Take that off. Okay, so this is the unstabilized water. This just has bleach in it only. Alright. Okay, so I'm going to expose that to sunlight now. We've got a pretty sunny day here on the low country. It's beautiful. Alright. I'm going to take this off too. Okay. Yeah, this is the water that's stabilized. Alright. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to let these bad boys sit here, and we're going to test. What I'm going to do is I'm going to test over time the chlorine count in both of these to show you, if everything goes well, that this one isn't going to change, and this one is definitely going to change. It's definitely going to go down because as the sunlight comes down, hits this, it's going to neutralize the chlorine in here, and this one has stabilizer, so it shouldn't change very much, but we'll see what happens. Okay guys, so it's now about 7 o'clock in the evening, and I wanted to just go ahead and test, you can kind of see the sun in the background. I wanted to go ahead and test both of these to see what the chlorine count was. It's been about 3.5 hours now since we started this evening. So I went ahead and just shook them up a little bit, tested them both to find the chlorine count. what I determined was this one is actually at 1.8 now, so it started at 4.6, and now it's at 1.8. So there's clearly a neutralization going on between the sunlight and the chlorine that's in here, so it's canceling it out. So that part of it is correct. This one right here is running about 2.2 parts of chlorine. So this one is also experiencing some of the neutralization, which is a little surprising. I thought that this would be a little bit higher, but it still is higher than this one, but it's just not a lot higher. So what we're going to do now is we're going to wait until tomorrow, and hopefully we'll see some more interesting things tomorrow. So, yep. Hey guys, good morning. Okay, so our two beakers here just tested these. This one right here is at about 2.4 parts per million chlorine, and this is about 1.4 parts per million chlorine. Okay, hey, I just wanted to show you guys this real quick. So, we're here in the backyard. It's now about 1:30, so we've definitely had some time for the ultraviolet light to kind of expose itself to the water and kind of neutralize it. If it's there, I wanted to show you guys this test that I do. So this is the test that I perform to see if there's any chlorine in the water. So what I'm doing is I'm dumping the water from here into this canister, and then I add this, and basically the way that you can tell whether or not there's any chlorine present in the water is if this turns any kind of red. So as you can see, this is definitely not red at all, and this was water directly added from the container itself. So clearly we can see that this is now about down to 0. So now I'm going to go ahead and test this one and see what the difference is. Okay, that's crazy. So you can see now I just added the water from this beaker right here. This is our stabilized water, and look at that. It's beautiful. Okay, so as a titration, what I did was I added this reagent right here, which is R0871 to the water drop-wise, stirring it after each drop, and our final result is we have a count of 1.4 parts per million chlorine in this one right here. So definitely on both sides we can see that the sun has definitely absorbed a lot or neutralized a lot of the chlorine, the free chlorine. This is now absolutely useless concerning algae reduction. So if there was any algae present in this water, it could not be fought against. Whereas this one, if there was algae introduced to this water, it would be neutralized because there's still free chlorine even though the sun is hitting it. Okay guys, so that pretty much wraps it up for us. So after testing it, this one has we're now down to 0. And this one is going strong at that 1.4 parts per million. So basically the moral of the story is if you're going to add bleach to the pool, which is fine, it's definitely an alternative to the trichlor tablets. You can do it, just make sure that you add that stabilizer. You can pick that up basically at any pool parts store like Leslie's or Paradise Pool or a bunch of different ones, maybe Lowe's. You can pick that up there and add it directly to the pool. That's going to definitely save you a lot of money in the long run, because basically if you don't add the cyanuric acid stabilizer, basically you're just wasting money, because the sunlight is going to absorb all of that chlorine that you're adding to the pool. You're not even going to make it one day without the chlorine pretty much being completely absorbed. So that can get quite expensive. So just make sure you guys do that, and I'll see you next time. Frog!